Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about why women love problematic men. Okay, so the thing with this, is that not all women, that classic saying, not all women, not all men, right? I know what you're thinking. But obviously not all women like problematic men. But there are certain qualities about problematic men that they love that makes them more attracted to those guys, let's say, rather than the typical nice guy. Okay, she's more likely gonna be more drawn to the problematic, cocky, arrogant, confident guy who's a little bit more mysterious than the guy that is falling at her feet straight away, telling her how much he loves her straight away, treating her like a princess, putting on her pedestal straight away. Okay, because what you'll find is that women actually don't want to be treated that way. Even though they may say that, even though they may say, oh yeah, I want a guy that's, honest from the start. I want him to tell me how he feels. I want him to be open about his emotions and tell me that he loves me. I want him to buy me lots of things. I want him to take me here, take me there. And I want us to be I just want to just hit it off. I want him to write me love letters. I want him to buy me flowers. But the thing is that when you actually do those kinds of things, it puts her off, right? And she actually starts dating a guy that does none of those things. Okay, so for example, in my own life, when I started dating my wife, okay, she told me about the women that she had previously dated that were just too much, as in they came on too strong too soon, and basically were nice guys but in women form, okay? And one of these women she went out on a date with, right? And then after the date, she'd got a text from this woman saying, I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. And she also sent her 2 bunches of flowers just from one date. Now, obviously, that's a really extreme example, okay? But when my wife told me these stories about these women that she dated, because she had no experience with a woman that she dated a little bit more long term who was quite over the top, right? She made a video on Instagram of my wife who like when she was like at work and stuff, like little clips that she had taken sort of secretively of my wife, and then put it to some cheesy music and sent it to my wife. Obviously she was my wife at the time. This is when my wife was dating other women and I didn't know her yet, but obviously, right? But anyway, just to make that point clear. And again, it was just like showing like really sort of like weird, needy, overly romantic, too much too soon kind of behavior, really insecure, desperate for validation, doing too much too soon behavior. And as I was saying, like when my wife was telling me about these stories, I told her that, well, you know what? If from me, you'd be lucky to get a slap on the bum and a cream egg. Okay, and a cream egg is a little Cadbury chocolate sort of thing that you can buy. I think it's like £1. I feel like it shouldn't be. I can't remember. It might be less than that, but I think it's about £1, right, to get one of these little chocolate bars. And that's what I told her. And my God, has that been true? Okay, right. But she found that hilarious, and she's still with me, right, after 7 years, right? And she didn't continue dating that girl who gave her bunches of flowers after a date and sending that romantic text saying, "Oh, I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you," and she didn't stay with the woman who sent her that really soppy video, right? I've never been that soppy with my wife. Firstly, because I know that's not what she likes, right? And this is not what actually a lot of women like. They may like to read about it in sort of like books, or they may like to watch it in movies, and they're like, oh, I really wish I could meet someone like that. But ultimately, that's not what they want. That's not what they emotionally respond to, okay? So it's not about being mean either, right? It's not like I'm mean to my wife or anything like that. It's just that I don't treat her like a princess, because she's not. She's just another human being. She's just another human being like me, and I'm not going to treat her like she's a princess or a queen or anything like that, because she's not. She's just another human being. She's what and also it's just, it comes off as a bribe as well, right? This is another thing, okay? If you're buying women gifts or you're just doing too much for them, it's basically like you're trying to convince them and bribe them into being in a relationship with you, or bribing them into sleeping with you. Okay, and that's what it is. Like, especially if you're doing it way too soon, if you're buying a woman lots of trinkets right away, then it just looks like and feels like a bribe for sex or a bribe for a relationship. Okay, so don't do it. Don't bribe her. Okay, because that's how she'll feel. She'll feel like, oh, I'm being bribed, and she'll feel indebted to you, and she won't like it. It'll make her feel uncomfortable because no one likes to feel indebted to anyone. Okay, they don't. It makes them feel uncomfortable. They don't know how to respond. Okay, so don't do it. Okay, just so what is it then? What is it else that makes women like these guys that are a bit more problematic? So one of those things is that they're more authentic. Because what you'll see with the nice guy is, first of all, the nice guy will try and be her pal first, even though deep inside, what he really feels is, oh, I'm really attracted to her. I'd really like her to make her my girlfriend. I'd really like to be intimate with her. I'd really like something romantic with her. But you know what? I'm just going to pussyfoot around that, and I'm just going to try and be her pal first because I'm too scared to be authentic and to say what's actually on my mind and say what's actually in my heart. That's what's going on. That's what's really going on there. Now, of course, you'll find some people that meet and they're friends to begin with, and then they'll fall in love later. But if one of them is already in love straight out the gate, or has strong romantic feelings straight out the gate, it's inauthentic. It's an inauthentic connection. And the other person, which is usually the woman, can tell if you're not being authentic. And that's why they're like, ugh, something's not right. It kind of makes them go ick. And they put that guy in friend zone, right? Because they can sense there's something not right. They can sense by the way that he's like looking at her. You know, he's saying that he wants to be friends, and they're doing pally things, but yeah, he's got romance in the way that he's looking at her, and in his body language, and in the way that he's treating her, yeah. And it's just inauthentic. So what she likes about the problematic guy is more likely going to be more confident and be like, hey, you know what? I really like you. Let's go out on a date. When are you free? Okay, great. How about we meet here at this restaurant? I'll meet you there. I'll come and pick you up. Right? They get on with it. Right? They go for what they want. That's why women like that, because it shows that strong leadership energy. Now, of course, with like the really problematic guys that end up being jerks and horrible, what happens there usually is what's happening, why they're doing that and they're saying those things is because they're trying to control her, right? And women like that to begin with, especially when it comes to like setting dates and meeting up, right? They like someone else to take control, okay? But when they end up in a relationship with that man, what happens is she then starts to exert her freedom by like, oh, I'm going to go and see my parents today. And he's like, oh, no, you're not. We're going to go and do this instead. And he starts to be controlling and possessive, okay? So that's what can happen when these guys are too problematic, shall we say, and actually not very nice people and psychotic in some way or another. And that's how women can get up in trouble, right? Can get in a lot of trouble, okay, with some of these problematic guys. But unfortunately, women get stuck in these relationships because first they fall in love with them because to begin with, these men are just displaying strong leadership qualities that she would like in a man who is kind to her, okay? But it turns out that he's not so kind, and maybe he wore a false mask and pretended to be kind. And then when she started to exert any kind of freedom, he locks her down basically, and prevents her from seeing friends and family and all those kinds of things, which can be very, very bad. But that's why it's a good idea for the recovering nice guys, shall we say, that are probably, you know, a lot of my subscribers are probably these kinds of men who are trying to implement these stronger behaviors so they can be kind to women and still show these dominant leadership qualities that women actually find attractive. And so basically what you'll become the dream man, right? The man that she really wants, the man who is a leader and decisive and shows these strong leadership qualities, but is also kind to her and not the problematic jug who is controlling. Okay, so what I'm actually teaching you and what I've been showing you along these years with these videos and stuff is that you can become her dream man, right? By showing the things that she likes, the problematic qualities, but also still coming from a kind place, and you're not actually going to hurt her or be mean to her. Okay, so another reason why women love problematic men is because they tend to be more fun, right? Because they're not talking about relationships or trying to lock her down into a relationship. They're not focused on romance too much, right? They're focused really on having a good time. They have a good time with their friends. They have a good time with her. They're not focused on putting things into a relationship, because when you start getting into serious conversations and you're the one that's getting into a serious conversation about oh, we should be in a relationship, I'd really like to, I'd really like to be your boyfriend, or things along those lines. Or you're writing her love letters and you're coming on too strong. These are the things that are going to make her run away from you, okay? Because it's too much too soon, because a lot of guys usually do this kind of stuff too much too soon. So basically, it doesn't mean that you could never be romantic with her, but it just means that when you're just dating and she's not your girlfriend yet, just focus on having a laugh, focus on having fun, focus on making her laugh and making her feel joy, and finding fun things for you guys to do together, and just focus on fun and enjoyment and having a good time and making her laugh. That's the vibe that you want to put across. That's what you need to be putting across when you go on dates with women. Okay, now when you get into a relationship, right, and now you two are exclusive, then you can sort of let your guard down a little bit, be a little bit more vulnerable. Maybe you write her a love letter every so often, like on her birthday or something, and then you can be more romantic. Then you can show more of that romantic side of you. Okay, but women need it more later when they're in a relationship. At the beginning, they don't need that at all, because they're still falling in love with you. Okay, they're not quite there yet. Okay, and usually guys fall in love a lot faster. Okay, usually. Okay, and it takes women a lot longer to warm up to you. Okay, and one of the reasons it takes women a lot longer to warm up to a guy is because she doesn't know you. And of course, stranger danger has been programmed into women's minds ever since they were little girls. Be careful of strange men that you meet, because they might be dangerous, they might hurt you, they might R-word you, things like that, essay, whatever. They might do all these things. You don't know him, so it's best to just take your time, get to know him, and then when you're comfortable, then you can let your guard down and to trust him. But we're told from a very young age as girls that you gotta not trust men, strange men who you don't know, especially if you're just meeting them out and you've never met them before because you met them on a dating app. Okay, stranger danger. That's one of those things. Okay. So that's why it takes her a long time to open up to you. Now, when I say a long time, it's not like a long time. It would just take a few weeks, right? Just a few weeks of dating, seeing each other once a week, or maybe you meet up you spend a whole weekend together eventually. It just takes a little bit of time, right? But it's just a matter of weeks. It's not a matter of, oh my God, this is going to take years for her to warm up to me. No. You should be in a relationship by the second month, if you do everything right, and if you just focus on fun and having a good time and just making her laugh. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christinelovich.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.